If you think From is a show that can do no wrong, and you're just in so deep that any critique on this show upsets you, then you should probably stick around because this video is truly going to piss you off. And I'm just joking, but not really. Look, I've been covering this show ever since the very first episode aired, and honestly, if you look back far enough at everyone's very first From recap videos, you'll probably see that mine was the very first one, if not one of the very first ones. And I've been sticking it out for a while, hoping to see some actual real narrative steps towards some sort of solid answers. And then at least if we didn't get anything like that, I was still able to say that everything that has happened thus far in the town has been entertaining enough to at least keep my mind occupied until we get some actual real answers. And at this point, we are currently now done with season 4, and we still don't have any major clues about what's happening in the show. And as badly as I would finally like to have some sort of concrete answer, which would be nice, beyond that, the biggest issue to me was that the main driving plot point of season 4 was boring. Like I said, even if I don't get any type of major answers, the chosen adventure of the season, whatever that may be, is truly what carries the show. And that's the case really for any show. If the character's day-to-day routine becomes boring, then that will destroy a show. What made this season probably the worst so far, in my opinion, was there was no real concrete goal for the characters. I mean, just think about it. In season 1, that was our glorious introduction to those characters and our first attempt at trying to understand the mechanics of this mysterious place. So of course, because of that, there were no major expectations placed on the show by viewers outside of just initial first impressions. We're just hoping we're watching something that's not going to be a waste of time. And for the most part, I think a lot of people were pleased with what we got, myself included. For example, the main goal of season 1 was for Boyd to travel out into the woods with Sarah to hopefully discover a way out, because that's what a normal person would immediately try to do if they were stuck in this situation. And since this was during the time when Sarah first started hearing voices, they were thinking that maybe those voices could be trusted and help them find a way out, which of course we already know that that didn't pan out so well, but this was Boyd's idea. Of course, everyone else in the town wanted to kill her, but he thought maybe those voices could help serve them. Then season 2 kicked it up a bit and introduced the worms, and it was the first time that we witnessed one of the monsters being killed. Ultimately, our subplot for season 2 was exciting, with Boyd having to destroy the music box and rescue Randall, Julie, and Marielle. Our finale was great, ending with Tabitha seemingly waking up back in the real world. I mean, season 2 was actually very strong in my opinion, and it really felt like they were really starting to move the needle a bit and still feeding off that momentum from season 1. Season 3's subplot was the weakest at the time of the first 3 seasons, mostly revolving around Fatima's strange pregnancy and learning more about the reincarnation aspects of Jade and Tabitha and how they've been to the town multiple times to try to save the children. Now, I wasn't the biggest fan of season 3, but I still thought it was a solid enough season while hoping for the best once we would finally get to season 4. And now that we're finally on season 4, I now stand corrected. This is now officially the weakest subplot of all the seasons. I mean, honestly, it feels like the entire season was a complete filler season with no real substance. The major subplot of season 4 was how Jade's visions of the children's bones that were buried underneath Colony House could possibly somehow lead to a way out. And the main subplot of season 4 doesn't even really begin to get going until episode 5 and really episode 6, since that's when Boyd officially finds the door. I just think it could have been more exciting based off the idea, but I feel like it was weak in story pacing and execution. They have to find a way underneath the house, through the monster tunnels, to hopefully find the bones of dead children that may or may not even be there. And if they are, they now need to figure out what to do with them. What will they be doing with the children's bones? And all the other additional subplots this season were just quite boring. Especially the Storywalker stuff with Julie. I mean, it seems interesting, but they never seem to really go anywhere with that stuff. But hold on, wait just a second. Let's start with the highlights, because the season starts with us finally seeing the man in yellow again, since we saw him at the end of last season, and finding out that he is a shapeshifter, who is now Sophia, who basically goes to the town to do nothing. Maybe stir up a little mischief, but ultimately she does nothing. The most interesting thing she does throughout the entire season is the fact that she gathers up all the talismans and dumps them into a faraway tree in the finale, which tells us that they're no longer going to have any protection at night throughout season 5, which, if you guys remember, this is exactly how things were when Boyd first got to the town, because he was the one who originally found the talismans. So we already have some sort of idea of what that scenario looks like. I mean, that's not exactly uncharted territory for the characters. Then our characters finally get to discover how poor Jim was slaughtered and left hanging in the barn. Elgen and Marielle are both killed in the finale, and Fatima is confirmed to be a monster, which was basically already known since season 3. Henry has visions of the real world, which could be a trick by the town, or Boyd's wife Abby may have been correct when she said that they all need to die to wake up. So now he's ready to start trying to kill everybody the same way she did. And I have heard some theories online that this is probably just the man in yellow being the influence behind them, making them see things. And these are just examples of him working double time, and we just have not seen the full extent of his power yet. But he is believed to be Martin, who shared blood with Boyd. As Sophia, I think he also shared blood with Elgen before he died, or she at least held his hand and killed him. Her blood was also drank by Fatima, and she just does the whole blood transfer thing a lot. And maybe that's a sign that's pointing to other things. Also, there's 3 random things that happen in the finale that just once again adds to the list of questions we already have. And that's the fact that once they snatched up the bottle tree, it became nighttime for a few minutes, almost like they broke something in Frumland. Then immediately after, back in town, Sophia, aka the man in yellow, kills Elgen. And then the sun came back out again. So of course I'm not 100% sure, but the 2 things do seem to be related since they happen so closely together. Then back at Colony House, Julia, Ethan, and Donna encounter some sort of strange paranormal event, causing cabinet doors to go crazy and dishes to be thrown around in the room, which I do believe we have seen this one other time throughout the show, and even Ethan yells it's happening again. And honestly, that's really about it. There's some other boring time-wasting elements they throw in the season to further expand the past lives of Jade, confirming that he was basically everyone he had a vision of throughout the show, and there's still the constant struggles Boyd has to face in the town, trying to figure out how to lead with all the strange shit still happening. Then Fatima has a new weird mud sculpting hobby, and just honestly at this point for me, it's beginning to feel like a whole lot of nothing is happening. And as a heads up, which you guys can probably already notice if you've made it this far into the video, I'm going to be bouncing around a lot of topics pertaining to this season and the show thus far as it is. But I came across a Reddit comment that I wanted to share with you guys and share my opinion about it. So it's titled, "We Need to Talk About Elgen." Elgen's behavior doesn't make any sense and hasn't made sense since he first came to Frumville. When Elgen first came to Frumville, he tried to get the bus to turn back. Elgen stated that he had dreams about this place. He knew about the place way before he got here. Yet when Donna and Kenny tried to get them to go into the diner where it's safe from the monsters, what does Elgen do? He ran off. Now Elgen is helping Acosta go through items and things in the basement. Acosta tells him to let her know if he finds anything. Elgen finds an old Polaroid picture of Sophia from the 70s, but instead of taking it to Boyd, Kenny, Donna, Acosta, anyone that he knows, instead takes it directly to Sophia, a woman he doesn't know, who just arrived in town. Why? It's obvious that the picture is from the 70s and Elgen knows that Sophia is supposed to be only 15 years old, which I'm not sure if that's true, but whatever. Seeing the picture should have raised red flags that something is wrong and maybe I should talk to Acosta or Boyd. But he didn't do that. He decided to take it directly to the person in the picture. So why did he do it? And what made him take the picture directly to Sophia? We all assume that Elgen wanted to help the people of Frumville and that his mission is to help them leave. But suppose that is not his mission. When Elgen first got there, he was running from the monsters, begging Victor and Tabitha to let him in. Victor said that he didn't trust Elgen. He didn't say why, but so far Elgen really hasn't been proven to be trustworthy. So what do you think Elgen's true mission is? To help the townspeople or to help the monsters / man in yellow? And why do you think Elgen took the picture directly to Sophia instead of taking it to Acosta, Boyd, or Donna? So yeah, basically this Reddit user is pointing out Elgen's contradictory behavior, pointing out how it doesn't make sense, and the comments underneath that post was talking about how Elgen's so dumb and he's such a dumb character and all of those things. And yeah, Elgen does do dumb things, but there's another element of this that viewers aren't seeing pertaining to the writers. And I got an answer for that. So first off, Elgen is dead now, and no, he was never working with the monsters or the man in yellow. It was just contradictory writing set in place to distract the viewers. See, this is a literary device storytellers use, often referred to as a red herring. See, a red herring is usually a character, event, or a clue that's introduced to deliberately mislead or distract the audience from the actual important information or outcome. It's often used in mysteries or thrillers to create false trails, leading readers to suspect the wrong thing before the real solution or twist is revealed. Now, after that explanation, that sounds a whole lot like From, right? There's so many things that have happened at this point that I do feel like it's probably a little impossible for them to provide a satisfying explanation to everything. Now, I know it's definitely going to be some sort of overarching explanation, like they're all in a coma or afterlife, etc., to satisfy the red herrings the show has introduced. And only scenarios like that would pretty much cover all the ground, that maybe they're in a coma, maybe they're in a fantasy world, an afterlife, somebody's controlling their mind. And I really feel like they're going to try to go for some sort of umbrella term like that to cover all bases. And it's not really going to be that satisfying if they go that route. I mean, I think this season really pushed me to search deep for the restraint and patience required to make it through the BS. And And I think all I have left is about one season in me, just to see how the events of everything unfolds. But those are my thoughts on season 4 and on how far the show has come at this point. Now I would like to hear you guys' thoughts on From. Are you still watching it? Have you become fed up, or are you still staying strong? Are you still entertained? I'm very curious about what my OG watchers think about the show at this point. I really want to know if you guys are still sticking around. Also, I've been hearing rumors of a spinoff. Is that something you guys would be interested in? I'm like, where would they even really go with the spinoff? I mean, it could be interesting, but you know, I guess we'll see. I'm honestly not even sure if I'd be interested. But anyway, if there's more specific details you guys really want to get into, really want to know my thoughts about this season, about the finale or whatever, we'll chat about it down in the comments. But as always, guys, thank you for watching.